The situation just opened up a massive opportunity for a superstar, so we'll see who can step up there, as well as what's the latest for Randy Orton. Starting things off with the unfortunate situation that has shifted a big WrestleMania 41 matchup. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton was set to take place at WrestleMania and be a big showdown between both major stars, but Kevin Owens just announced that he's been fighting through a neck injury over the last few months. He initially thought it was something he could work through, but upon further investigation, Kevin needs neck surgery done as soon as possible. Kevin Owens said he does not know when he'll be back, but it'll most likely be a while, especially with a procedure as serious as neck surgery. It's a scientific fact that people don't immediately jump back into combat sports after neck surgery, so it's heartbreaking news that will put Kevin Owens on the shelf for an unknown amount of time. Not only do you lose having Kevin Owens on the active roster, but this also creates another problem, and that's the fact that Randy Orton no longer has a WrestleMania match and is now in danger of missing the event, but telling by the seeds they planted on the April 4th edition of SmackDown, Randy Orton will still be competing at WrestleMania 41, just against a new backup opponent to take Kevin Owens' spot. So what are the seeds they planted? Well, after Kevin Owens made his announcement, Randy Orton came out to the ring to confront Nick Aldis, probably to get a feel and see if Nick had a backup plan in mind. But instead of telling Randy a backup plan, all Nick Aldis did was inform Randy that he no longer has a match at WrestleMania 41. All this did was just anger Randy Orton even more, so Randy dropped Nick Aldis with an RKO. And like we were just discussing not that long ago, the fans' memories are amazing, and they can go back and pull out all these different prior events that some people might have forgotten about. And the important old detail here for this exact situation was a 2023 Backstage SmackDown segment where Nick Aldis fined Randy Orton for hitting him with an RKO. Randy paid double the charge of the fine just to cover himself for the next time that he hits Nick Aldis with an RKO. So nearly 2 years later, and there's the payoff, this RKO on Nick Aldis should be free of any fines since Randy did technically pay for it in advance back in 2023. So that's a nice little story detail that fans are expecting them to acknowledge and implement in the coming weeks. But now is the fun part. Nick Aldis teased the idea of Randy Orton missing WrestleMania due to the injury to Kevin Owens, but obviously Randy is still competing on the card, so who will be the new opponent? The fans and community have come up with a pretty great list of individuals that can step in and have a match against Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41. So let's go down those lists of possibilities. First name being SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis himself. Nick Aldis has not yet wrestled on television. He's been an authority figure ever since he first showed up in the company, but don't get it mistaken, Nick Aldis is very much a professional wrestler and can lace up the boots again at any given time. We've yet to see Nick lace up the boots since becoming general manager, but what better place to make his official in-ring debut at than WrestleMania itself against Randy Orton? Maybe Nick Aldis is tired of getting constantly hit with the RKO and embarrassed by Randy Orton that he decides to volunteer himself to step into the ring with Randy Orton. Obviously, this program won't have much time to flesh itself out since this is an emergency backup story, but maybe they can tie things back to that 2023 moment where Randy took out Nick Aldis and have it serve as the main motive for why Nick wouldn't mind facing Randy Orton. Fans have also discussed the idea of Randy Orton facing Carmelo Hayes at WrestleMania. Carmelo appears to currently be at the start of a partnership with The Miz, but he did a few run-ins with Randy Orton not that long ago, so there's some history there to build on. Some fan suggestion is for Karrion Kross to be Randy's opponent. Kross is not used that much on WWE television, but he does have a rich character that's known to change people's behavior and get inside their heads. And Randy's been doing a lot of talking lately about giving in to the voices in his head. So coincidentally enough, Karrion Kross perfectly fits with what Randy's character is currently going through. So many people were tagging Kross that he acknowledged all the fans on his social media platforms and said that he would not hesitate to say yes if he gets the call to face Randy at WrestleMania. But then you have some fans that are discussing the idea of leaving Randy Orton's WrestleMania opponent as a mystery until the night of the match itself, and then having his opponent be a big returning star, and there's 3 top choices to pick from. The company is currently sitting on the returns of Aleister Black, Rusev, and Uncle Howdy. Those are 3 big names that are reportedly signed and medically cleared to compete, so could one of them answer the call to face Randy at WrestleMania? Out of those 3 names, the one that would make the most sense story-wise would probably have to be Uncle Howdy. Some people often forget, but Randy Orton at one point in time was a legitimate member of the Wyatt family. He did stand next to Bray Wyatt and serve as one of his loyal family members right around that 2016 to 2017 era of SmackDown. You also can't forget that Randy Orton was Bray Wyatt's final WrestleMania opponent back in 2021. So talk about insane full circle moment. What if Randy Orton is standing in the ring, not knowing who his WrestleMania opponent is, and then you hear the Shatter theme song start to play? Imagine the rush of all the memories that will fill Randy's head from his Wyatt past in 2017 and his long feud with The Fiend from back in the Thunderdome days. So much history between Randy Orton and the Wyatts, and now Uncle Howdy is taking the revenge plans into his own hands to pay Randy Orton a visit and seek retribution on the behalf of the Fiend Bray Wyatt, who never had his chance to get Randy back for WrestleMania 37. So if Uncle Howdy is reaching out to Eric Rowan, Alexa Bliss, Braun Strowman, and all of these other former affiliates of Bray Wyatt, it only makes sense for Uncle Howdy to try and reach out to Randy Orton as well. And you had that report a few weeks back that claimed all Wyatt Sicks members were healthy and ready to go. They were just waiting for a right time to bring them back. And strangely enough, Howdy confronting Randy Orton for both his hostile history and former affiliation with Bray Wyatt would perfectly fit like a glove to what Howdy has been doing ever since he popped back up last year. Also, can't forget Alexa Bliss passed with Randy Orton as well, because she would also fit perfectly into the story. After The Fiend was burnt alive in late 2020, Bray Wyatt was off television for months, and the feud transitioned from Bray versus Randy to pretty much Alexa versus Randy. It's not that often that you see a full-blown intergender feud, but that's exactly what happened here. The story morphed into a full program between just Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton. They even legitimately had a singles match against each other that ended with Alexa actually pinning Randy Orton for a 3 count. So it's a lot of small details some fans might have forgotten, but Randy Orton had the deepest history with Alexa Bliss and the Wyatts in general. So a last-second appearance and return by Howdy, Alexa, and the rest of the group to confront Randy Orton and make their official returns on the WrestleMania stage itself would be a pretty epic moment. So no matter who they end up choosing, it should be an exciting surprise opponent. Maybe they'll reveal the opponent beforehand, or maybe they'll leave it up in the air for WrestleMania itself. Sort of like how they handled Cody's return back at WrestleMania 38.
But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.